Despite what their moms told them, they just aren't talented enough for radio. Unfortunately, anyone can have a show these days. Sean.
Well, I'm pretty hard to figure out sometimes. In fact, I can't even figure myself out sometimes, so don't you try to.
Joe.
You're an idiot and really a disloyal person.
This is the Cuse Militia. Now, those two unapologetically biased orange-blooded homers, Sean and Joe.
It's the most bullshit thing I've seen in 30 years.
Welcome, orange men and ladies. Happy Monday. This is the Cuse Militia with Sean and Joe for the Believe Entertainment Network at Cuse Militia on the socials. Go there, join the militia. We are back a day late, and but we warned you.
Short.
We warned you. $1 short, a couple of dollars short. All right, so what we've got is we'll talk about the loss against Virginia Tech. We'll talk about the loss against Miami and the ensuing drama thereafter. As you would imagine, I will check fan feedback, and if there is something worth mentioning, I'll mention it. But I got a pretty good feeling that it's going to be pretty redundant. Yeah. And I think we all kind of have a pretty good idea of what that redundancy may be. So Syracuse goes into the locker room at the half at home against Virginia Tech at 10 o'clock at night. Up by 7. I ended up losing by 2. I couldn't find points in the paint for this game, but Syracuse hit 10 3-pointers in this game, which is, you would think would be good enough at 43%. And if you just look at that stat, you think, and we talk about this a lot, well, they probably won that game, right? They had a pretty balanced attack, and they lost a close one, and came down to some sloppy play just right at the end, just elementary things. And we had 5 players in double digits, so you know, it wasn't that bad. We're talking scoring in the 70s really is between, you know, I'd say between 65 and 75 is where Syracuse should be pulling these games off. Now they're close, and we could talk about that. You can make an argument about that, but at the end of the day, resulted in a loss. Yeah. And, you know, it kind of, it's putting us further and further behind. And as we sit right now, Syracuse is 79th in the net. So as time goes on and the schedule gets a little bit more difficult, you have to have a sense of urgency. And I think this sense of urgency has to be there for this team. And we'll talk about we'll talk about mostly that after the Miami game.
Yeah.
But turnovers and execution, still Syracuse with 14 turnovers. And it's just sloppy play, and you're at home, and I know it's a late game, but the crowd was still in this game in the beginning. There were some highlight moments in the first half of this game that really got the crowd pumped up. The thing about a Syracuse crowd at home at 9 o'clock on a Wednesday, is that if you don't give them something to eat, they're not gonna be feeding off of it.
Yeah, no.
Pretty simply, but they need something to rouse them up. But when you rouse them up, the call to action is there. The problem is the inconsistencies of this team in a game that I thought was going to be close anyway. But we're talking about two teams that are fighting for bubble spots in the tournament. Right.
At that point.
And right. I mean, present day time, I think we could maybe, I don't know. At this point in time, they definitely were, right? We're talking about 2 middle of the row ACC teams. Got to win those games, dude. Yeah. You got to win those games. You lose by 2 at home, fumbling a rebound under the basket at the buzzer. That's not good, dude.
No. And then realistically, you look at the first half, we held them to 30 points. And I think that Virginia Tech, they came out in the second half and, you know, they had a plan for the defense and how aggressive we were playing. The that to me was really the change of the game. That and the fact that Donnie Freeman went 3 of 14. We need him to be better than that. If he shoots just average what he normally shoots, then we win that game. But to your point, we had 14 turnovers to their 10, but they had 16 points off of turnovers to our 8. Points in the paint, I did find they had 36, we had 32.
Okay, so it wasn't that bad.
Wasn't that bad. They had 25 fast break points to our 15, so there tells you that they got some easy buckets off of some of our turnovers. But realistically to me, the Virginia Tech guards kind of just took over that game, and Toby Lawal, their big guy, ended up shooting 14 free throws. Sorry. And really, when you look at it, we were still, we urged our way back into that game, right? Like we played
down
good defense. We got turnovers, right? There was a point where I didn't think we were even going to have a chance, and then you get to the free throw line. They went to the free throw line, and all you need is a rebound, and you have a chance. And two guys don't block somebody out, and they get the rebound, and that's pretty much the game. But I will say something that does stand out. We did shoot 86% from the free throw line. We shot 12 of 14, but they shot 26 of 36. So there's a big discrepancy there. With when you look at the fouls, we had 28 fouls called on us to 15 called on them. I'm not saying that that's the ref's fault. I'm just saying that that's just kind of the difference between the team that maybe struggling offensively and saying, "Hey, look, I'm gonna be aggressive on offense, use their aggressiveness against them, and go to the free throw line." And they got our guys in foul trouble. Therefore you end up getting a guy like, Ben Hammond, who had hit 12 of 13 free throws, and Toby Lawal hit 10 of 14. So, them scoring 14 more points than us from the free throw line, not really a good look either. So, to me, that was the game. And even with all that, we still had a chance to get the ball and have a chance to go win that game.
Syracuse is sitting at about 16 and a half fouls given per game. You can't blame the refs on that, right? Now, we've seen some questionable officiating already this year, and you could always find it.
Right.
But that's a discipline problem, it seems like. And I know I'm not telling you. I'm just saying that I feel like, with that said, you're giving a team 26 free points.
Yeah.
That's a difficult thing to overcome.
Yeah.
And, again, it's the sloppiness and the inconsistency of some of this. And they're just not, you sent me that clip of, help me out.
Randolph Childers.
Yeah.
Yeah. He was calling that game.
Okay. All right. At 9:00 when I'm watching that game, bedside, I can't hear much of the broadcasters, so you know.
Yeah. Yep.
But, he made some solid points in the fact that things we talked about earlier in the season about Syracuse not sharing the ball well, not being a cohesive unit, especially on offense, and not creating plays for themselves, just playing hero ball and really making it super easy on defenses. And it's a little selfish. The offense is a little selfish. And you can't win these games in the ACC. You might be able to pull that stuff off in non-conference play, but you're not going to win games in the ACC playing like that. And I feel like it's crazy because when we did do that, we were playing non-conference games. Like there was non-conference games where I thought Syracuse really did a good job of opening up shots for themselves and sharing the ball. I mean, the win over Tennessee was one of them, right? So I feel like, I don't know if like at some point in the game they're just hitting the panic button on themselves and, everybody feels like they need to will this team to victory. But at the end of the day, there's so much talent on this team. And you play like a team and play as a team and maybe make a couple extra passes, smart passes.
Right.
You get better shots and it's easier to score.
Right.
I mean, I'm not a coach, but I mean that's basically what he was saying, though. In so many words.
100%. And then one things that stuck out to me was when he sat there and he said, every player on this team should be asking themselves, when you don't have the ball, what do you bring to the team? What are you bringing to the table when you don't have the ball?
Yeah.
Because again, and this is going to bleed into the Miami game as well, but just a lot of standing around, a lot of not cutting and not trying to get each other open. And, when you move and you make the defense move and work, then you go to the free throw line 36 times. And that's just, really what it is. And, you score more points. You get your teammate involved. You get your teammates involved, and it's just a lot easier. When you're standing around, you're just making the defense. You're just making it easy for the defense. You're not going to the whole aggressive, and sometimes trying to get fouled and using their aggressiveness against them. You're not doing yourself any favors. And to your point, like you said, just a lot of undisciplined plays out there. A lot of easy buckets, and
at the rim too. I mean, like they're not defending. They're not defending up close at all. It's a lot of really easy stuff close.
Well, yeah,
for opponents,
right? Yeah. So, this one was tough, but even with this one, you knew that it was going to be a quad 2 loss, and we only fell one spot in the net after that game. And then a couple of days later, we fell a couple more spots because other teams had played. But the initial drop was just one. So again, we're in that stretch where we're playing against quad 1, quad 2 games. So there's still room to grow. There's still room to move up that net. It's just you got to play as a team, and it's Virginia Tech. Seems like especially with Mike Young, like it's just every year when you watch him, his team plays tough and they play together and they play like a team. And it's unfortunate, and it's kind of, very just, I don't even know the word, but just to sit there and watch, knowing you have a more talented team, watching another team come into your house and play as a cohesive unit and beat you with less talent, it's just
demoralizing.
Yes.
Yeah. It's demoralizing for fans and players. And
coaches, everybody.
Yeah. I mean, obviously. I mean, coaches too, but I mean, I think that as a fan base, well, we'll save it.
Yeah.
Let's go. Let's think about how to tactfully add something without getting into the conversation. Let's do this.
Yeah.
Let's listen to hear what Coach had to say following the loss against Miami.
I thought the game today, especially in the second half, came down to some second chance points and the points in the paint, which we knew that's what their strength was, and we just didn't do a good enough job to do that, to keep them out of the paint in transition. Every time when we had a chance to kind of catch some momentum, we came up short offensively, and they came back and made us pay on the other end. I have to find a way to get our guys to understand the consistency and the tough stuff, the toughness, the second chance points, the rebounding, and I thought that was the biggest difference in the game. We just have to find a way to embrace that. Talent is just not enough, and we got to do a better job. I have to find a way to get these guys to understand how important those things are. We talk about it, we practice it, we just don't execute it, in the games. So that's on me and my staff to get these guys to do the tough stuff and fall in love with the tough stuff. We've talked about that, especially the last couple of games. That's the job at hand. We got to continue to fight, and that's all you can do. You only can fix this by continuing to fight and having confidence and pushing forward. Questions?
Adrian, there was some clear frustration shown today by the fan base. At this point in the season, what is your message for them on why they should still believe in this team?
Well, I think the one thing is we've shown the ability to be able to play and to win, and also, I think this group will keep fighting. The coaching staff will keep fighting. It's a lot more opportunities out there. The season, provides us this year with more opportunities than we've had in the past. So it's still a lot of basketball to be played, and I think this team, and my coaching staff, we're going to keep working, and I think we can, change this and turn this thing around. I know we can. Again, we've been close, but it's just, we haven't been able to get over the hump yet, and I think this team has the ability to do it, and we will continue to work and push hard. But the season is far from over with. Unlike, years in the past, you would have to basically, have to go and do something, very, very hard. But we still got a lot of great opportunities, and this team has competed. We've come up short, so, it's there. We just got to be able to do some little things just a little bit better.
Right. Some of the things you said about, getting the team to buy in on aggression and everything, like the clock's kind of ticking against you to do that, and the schedule is getting tough up there. So how do you adjust things at this rate of the season when the margin for error is pretty small?
Yeah, we have to have a sense of urgency, to be honest with you. That's the biggest thing. Having that sense of urgency, knowing that this is has to get done. I think they know that, but we have to do that. Like it's the talk is. We have to do the actions, and we have to do it. And we do it at times, but the consistency piece of it is that's the thing that they have to understand. They have to understand, like, every possession matters, and, that's going to be the difference. That's going to be the difference. We have to come up with more, dirty plays. We just have to. We got to come up with more those on the ball, on the floor, those type of plays, And then, we got to, cash in when we have a chance to cash in. We really do, because, today we gave ourselves, again, we turned them over. This is the most we turned over a team in a while, and we got out in transition, and, so that was an improvement. We took care of basketball, and that's something that we've been talking about. So, again, you learn from every game, but, at the end of the day, we got to get ready to get on this road and go down there and prepare to try to win a game, and that's not going to stop. We just got to keep going, and I'm going to keep pushing these guys. I'm going to keep pushing them, and no one likes to lose, and our guys don't like to lose, but we got to do things, better, and we're just not doing them better right now. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
All right, so The one thing that Coach mentioned, points off for turnovers, was just the highlight for the Orange, really, and forcing 16 turnovers and getting 17 points. That's really good, right?
Right.
It's everything else. It's everything else.
Right.
The first thing he mentioned is second chance points, 13-4 in favor of Miami. Points in the paint, 52-42 in favor of Miami. So, yeah, once again, just you got to win those battles down low, and they didn't. And Miami shot 61% from the floor, which is really good, obviously. And, the hustle of Miami. I feel like just there was a point in time, I will say that, Coach mentions they need to keep fighting. Well, obviously, like, there's a minute left in the game, and even Devendorf is saying, foul. They just gave up. What are they doing? They got all of the coaches sitting on the bench watching the game like they're spectators, and they've got a team what were they down?
Oh God, 7, 8, 9.
7.
Something.
Maybe it wasn't 11 or 9, whatever it was. It didn't end up. It was probably like 7. It was a minute left, and they sat around. They didn't foul. They wasted a ton of time. They had a timeout left. They didn't call a timeout and come up with anything. They just let it play out, and nothing happened for Syracuse in that last minute of the game. I don't understand that. It was extremely frustrating to watch. It seemed like you just said, screw it. We're going to just take the L and leave. Even if, like, look, I understand. I think most of the fans understand that Syracuse isn't going to follow their way into victory. But I mean, at least try something. The effort just like it was kind of piss poor, man. I'm shocked that he didn't get any questions about that during the press conference. That was the thing I was most interested to hear a response about, was that last minute of that game. And no one asked it. Nobody. How do you not ask that question? Like, it's what everybody's wondering.
I don't know.
Why do you think the fans booed? I mean, first of all, look, here's the thing. The fans are frustrated. They've been frustrated. Every fan base reaches a breaking point. I mean, it's the equivalent to going to a game with a bag on your head. Right. You know what I'm saying? It's like, you still go to the games and spend your money because you love your team, but you got a bag on your head, right? So you're obviously not proud because you don't want to be seen. So, fans are booing. Well, you know what? Take it on the chin, because y'all are getting paid. Some of these kids are getting paid. Well, I mean, many of these kids are getting paid more than I make, more than you make, more than probably most everybody listening to this at this very moment make. And they came from somewhere else, and it's their first year. Well, guess what? Joe, you and I have both been Syracuse fans before any of these kids were born. So I don't want to hear anything from Nate George that says, and just for them to come out here and boo, that's, very disrespectful. Well, deal with it. You're an athlete, bro. You're an athlete, man. You're going to get booed. And you're a great basketball player. So you know what? Do better.
Yeah.
And
you're getting paid to do it.
And you're getting paid to do it. And I'm not trying to be a jerk, man, but this is like the reality.
Right.
Get into reality. Do you want fans showing up at the game and cheering? Well, expect them to show up at the game and boo when they watched a last minute of a game that they watched on Saturday afternoon. It's so frustrating.
Yeah, I mean, and it wasn't even the last minute. As you watched that Virginia Tech game, obviously we had the Boston College loss, which, obviously we shouldn't have lost, and everyone was upset about that. So everyone's, pumped up about getting Virginia Tech back. It's a 9 p.m. Wednesday tip, whatever. At the end of the day, they showed grit at the end of that game, and they put themselves in a position with less than a minute or a couple minutes to go by pressing to put themselves in a position to possibly win that game. And then after, putting in all that effort and getting that comeback, then you have a little bit of a brain fart and you lack discipline and you give up that, that rebound. And it was just another what-if game, right? And, as a fan, I'm completely expecting them to come back with a sense of urgency. Now you have, it's a weekend game, 2 p.m. You got Miami coming in. Now you're talking about this is a quad 1 game and there's a chance to redeem yourself. And to me, it just looked like they weren't even ready to play. Like, even from the beginning. They came out.
It was lazy.
9-0 start. They didn't look like they were excited to be out there.
Yeah.
There was a play where the guy gets the ball. It didn't look like maybe Nate Kings and J.J. Starling were guarding the same guy. Didn't know who was supposed to guard the other guy, and he got the ball wide open. And Donnie Freeman was over there, but he didn't leave his man, and the guy gets an easy dunk, right? And then, again, 2 plays later, they come down. Donnie Freeman's guarding somebody, and then for some reason he just runs away from his guy and thinks he's supposed to be guarding somebody else, and he drives in, and then William Kyle has to come up and step up and stop the ball, and they throw an easy alley-oop. And it was just like, what are you doing? Like, so many plays in that game, it looked like people had no idea what they were doing. They didn't know who they were guarding. They didn't know what defense they were playing, even on offense. Someone's going to pick somebody. I saw a couple plays where They went to go pick Donnie Freeman's guy to get him open. He didn't look like he knew what he was supposed to do. There was not a bounce play out of a timeout where they came out and it was an inbound play and it looked like nobody knew what they were supposed to do. And it's like, it's a timeout. They just drew the play up and these guys don't know what's going on.
Yeah.
And then, they get bullied, which, I will, your brother, he got to sit courtside of that game. I don't know if you know that. He went with Julia and he called me after the game and he was like, he's like, I know that you're mad that they lost. He's like, but Miami's team looked like a bunch of football players out there, a bunch of big, just muscular. So I I can understand why they kind of bullied them and pushed them around and got a bunch of rebounds and second chance points and stuff like that. But I don't care what they look like or who they look like. That doesn't change the team's effort. And to me, there was just way too many plays. It was almost like a regression because there was just way too many plays of just players that just didn't know. They didn't look like they knew what they were doing. And another thing your brother brought up too was like it didn't look like our players were even into the game.
Well, we could see that I could see that from my house.
Right.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And, it's a situation where it doesn't look like they enjoy playing basketball together. Or just playing basketball, period.
Or they just talk about giving up. It looks like they were defeated, before halftime.
Right.
They didn't look happy. They didn't look like they were having fun. It was just the whole thing was a bad look. Everything about it was frustrating. And
right.
And again, there was moments in that game where the crowd was, they went down 9 and came back.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, they had some alley-oops, hit some threes. Cayenne had that dunk.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah. He had the dunk where he teabagged a fellow. Hey?
Right.
So,
and then even, a big play in the second half, you're down 4, you get a turnover, and JJ goes down and misses the dunk. And then they come down. Somebody doesn't pick somebody up on the perimeter, and they hit a 3, and they go up 7. So if you could have went from being down 2 with momentum and the dome rocking to now you're upset and you let them get a 3 and all of a sudden now you're down 7 again. It's those little things that is going to stop you from being able to beat good teams. Oh
my gosh, this just does not get any easier though.
No.
Do you know what I'm saying? Like Coach mentions a sense of urgency. Well, bro, like the sense of urgency should have been at the peak sense of urgency was after the Virginia Tech loss at 2 at home in a game you should have had.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You should have came into that Miami game at home ready to play. And he's just not getting these guys ready to play. They're not. That's a coach's job, bro. And what do you think about that? What do you think about the energy on the bench, though? Like honestly, because it's something.
The same thing.
Yeah,
it's the same thing that's changed, and that's the thing. I've seen it change over the whole season. In the beginning of the year, you had the bench was cheering. Huge example: Sadiq White. Beginning of the year, whenever he got in, even on the bench, he was the energy guy. He was always just, he was intense. He's got a couple technical fouls on the floor because of how intense he is, because they call a foul on him or something like that. And it's gotten all the way to the point where he came in the game and he played, he put in effort, but is it the same intensity? Is it the same interest? It doesn't look like it to me. It goes all the way back. We are 12-8. And yes, there are close. You look back at the free throws we missed to beat Houston, the free throws we missed to beat Hofstra. Should have fouled on a 3-point play so that we don't go into overtime at Boston College.
Mm-hmm.
Should have boxed out and got a rebound against Virginia Tech to give yourself a chance to win. Like, you have all these examples to where this could be a completely different season.
Right.
And you continually do the
find
same
different
thing
ways
over and over.
I feel like they're finding different ways to fail. You just mentioned several different ways to fail.
Well, but it all comes down to,
they're putting a full game together.
Discipline, focus, putting it together, playing for each other, and finishing the damn game.
I think that's it, man. Playing for each other. Like, look, the fans are booing. Okay, they're going to continue to boo. Now, a fire on. This is from Cooper Andrews at the Daily Orange. He had something on this. Fire archery chant was chanted in the SU students section. Started whenever archery squad allowed a big run or coughed up the ball. The honest critiques from the fans did not please Syracuse players, though. They wish they did not hear all that noise, but they do. It affects them, and it leads them to question whether the fans are on their side or not. The fact that there are fans in the stadium, in the dome, whatever you want to call it, should let you know that they're on your side.
Yeah.
It's not that difficult, gang. Come on.
No.
Let's not be dramatic.
If they weren't on your side, then they just sit at home and watch it for free or not watch it at all.
Nate George, it's just always bashing and bashing, but they don't see what goes on behind the scenes. I feel like it's very disrespectful in the way they treat Autry. I'm just very disappointed. I thought it was a very respected fan base. Well, like I said, Joe and I have been and many of you who are listening have been fans of Syracuse sports before Nate George and others were even born. So he's been affiliated with the team for not even a whole year. We've been affiliated with the team for our whole lives, right? I mean, ever since I can remember, 8, 10 years old, whatever. So I think the fans have every right to say what they want from the stands, as long as it's not on the court or in someone's face. I feel like it's fine. The students yelling fire Autry, by the way, we've been fans since before those students were born too. So.
Well, and let's be fair too, right? At the end of the day, Autry wasn't like fans' favorite pick, right? I mean, there was a lot of fans that
nobody was a fan favorite player though. Like people love Adrian Autry back in the day.
Back
right?
in the day, absolutely.
Yeah, right.
But what I'm saying is that the Boeheim thing, it got played out, and there was a lot of fans that wanted Mike Hopkins, and then when he was able to leave. There was a lot of fans once, Boeheim's, teams at the end of his tenure weren't being so successful. They were saying, all right, Boeheim's got to go. I don't think there's somebody on the bench. Like, go out and get a good hire. Go out and get a good hire. It's the NIL era. Go out and get a good hire. And they hired Adrian Autry, and, I'm not speaking for myself, but we do know that there was a lot of fans that weren't happy with that, which means all of a sudden, and we also talked about the fact that of shoes that he was filling with Jim Boeheim. So, and there's some sideline people that said, you got to give him more than 3 years. You got to give him more than that. Like, we knew coming in that he was going to have a short leash, and that a lot of our fan base was looking for a fresh start and trying to get a big splash outside hire. So we knew that if it went like this, that this is how it was going to be with the fan base. And, the players on this team have to understand that. They can be upset at the fans booing, and I don't think it's necessarily towards the players as much as it is the coach, but also that's their coach. And to Nate George's point, okay, he doesn't think, it's disrespectful. Kyan Anthony, he had a couple things to say about Autry too. That's fine. It's nothing personal. It's just they have to understand, to your point, what this fan base has gone through, what it came from to where it is now.
Exactly. Yes.
And what they're going through. And so it's nothing personal. And to me personally,
right,
as far as like, a challenge to the players, like if it affects you that bad, then do something about it. Fight for them.
Yeah. If you, there's quotes in here. I'm cherry picking quotes, obviously. And I got a couple more. This is going to be our fan feedback. I do have a couple, but talks about you got to respect the guy, and give him a chance. Nate George says of Autry, and you got to respect the guy. George said of Autry, he's trying his best, and of course you're going to come up short depending on what happens, but he's trying his best. Well, I think that's the problem. I think that's the point, is that if he's trying his best, man, and we got this kind of talent, well, the coaching isn't there. And I know this started very early in Autry's first season. And I mean, you and I were both like 2 years ago, crazy as it sounds already, 2 years ago, you and I were like, look, the dude just started. Like, we know what he was left with, especially in the year of NIL or in the era of NIL and having to build your squad. Like, you got to give him time to do it. And we gave him the benefit of the doubt. And we came up short 2 years in a row, very short. And now this is a team that was promising. And honestly, as far as wins and losses goes, it's like the games are a little bit closer, but the wins and losses are starting to equal out with as time goes on. And the more I look at the slate, the more I cringe and question.
Yeah.
So
I mean, look, at the end of the day, though, too, everything's put into perspective of the fact that the ACC is stronger this year than it has been in the last 2 years, or even before that, right?
Well, it's probably been 3 years at least.
Right. So when you talk about, you got to put the record perspective into that too. But also too, I think that and this might not be popular take, but I know Randolph Childress, he brought it up a little bit when he was on that radio show as well. Like, I mean, where in the ACC comparative to all the other teams is our NIL money going towards basketball?
What's the break? I mean, I don't ever see this stuff on paper, so I don't have any idea how it compares.
Right.
We were told that this was going to be an open concept, and it's not.
Yeah, it's definitely not.
I guess you could go look it up. Real quick, I have a couple relevant comments on Twitter, X, whatever. At EJ62564. This is a good one. I'm not surprised, but I'm getting pissed. Also, why would anyone spend $30 for a ticket, $20 to park, $7 for a hot dog, and $10 for a beer to watch disinterested and poor decision-making by players and coaches? That should give you a little bit of an idea of where the fans are at, and that's one guy. So I think my best advice to athletes these days across the board, especially collegiate athletes, is to not be on social media and read some of this stuff. Okay, because it's not.
It's nearly impossible, though.
I know it's nearly impossible, but I mean, I'm not on social media. I mean, I get it. I'm a little bit, I guess, whatever. I'm older, right? And I don't need it. But anyway, it is hard, but you can't judge a fan base based off of nasty comments on social media.
No.
Okay, you can judge them off of booing, and look, William Kyle has a comment in here in this piece at Daily Orange. Says, I mean, I've never experienced that before, to be booed by our fans, said Syracuse center William Kyle III, a UCLA transfer. So, I mean, it sucks. You can understand where the fans are coming from. They have passion. They want us to win, and they want to win as well. But, I mean, it just sucks. That's good. Take that. By the way, William Kyle is, he's one guy that there's a few games we wouldn't have won without him. And Donnie Freeman's another one, obviously. But, I mean, there's a couple before when Donnie Freeman was injured, we wouldn't have won without William Kyle.
Right.
And like you said, this is not personal against the players at all. But it is part of what you do when you play college sports, especially if you're getting paid. You're just going to have to deal with it. But that's more of a mature response, I feel like, a more reasonable response from William Kyle. And, these guys got to understand what, and we tell people not to have expectations, but what kind of expectations we had with the squad that we had. And if anything, that's a compliment because we believe that they can do it. If we knew they weren't going to be able to do it, I don't think it'd be nearly as many rumblings as there is. We're disappointed because we feel like this team is better than what they're showing. We feel like this team is better than their record, and we feel like this team should be winning games, these close ones. It's just so we talk about football being a game of inches. Well, these last couple games have been games of inches in basketball too. So, I mean, it's just the mistakes that are made, and you look back on one mistake. Stidham, yesterday, he made one mistake that changed the whole game. Just take the sack, bro. You know what I'm saying? Just take the sack. One mistake can change a whole game when it's this close. Mm-hmm. So if they clean up a lot of this stuff, some of the points in the paint numbers, fast break points, some of that stuff's not going to matter. If you're turning the ball over less and you're capitalizing on what you can capitalize on, instead of, getting your opponent to turn the ball over and then going down with a rushed shot and an empty trip, and then they just get the ball back. I mean, that's a wash. So, anyways, I'm frustrated. Yeah. I understand the fans' frustration. I think I understand.
But is it just it now? Is this just what NIL has done to this program?
I think that I think it is. And I would love, like you said, I think it'd be very interesting to see the numbers, but I think at some point Syracuse just falls, like, they're just, I don't know, man.
Middle of the road.
Just middle of the road, maybe below the middle of the road. I don't know where Syracuse sits in the next 5 to 10 years. I was thinking on my way home, because I knew we were doing this today, I'm thinking to myself, like, what does this look like in 5 years? Like, what is Syracuse? Is Syracuse even in the ACC anymore? Like,
right.
You know what I mean? Like, how do we stay with such a proud, competitive, historical conference like the ACC? Like, how do we stay there? Think about the ACC in basketball and how you had your blue blood schools that were just basketball schools, right? The Dukes, the UNCs. Now, they're freaking good at both. And lacrosse. So, you know what I'm saying? They're good at lacrosse. They're good at basketball. They're good at football. I mean, it's like someone's got more money than another guy.
Yeah. Well, look,
we're the other guy.
Alabama's got a top 25 college basketball team. Nebraska's college basketball team is undefeated right now in the top 10. Indiana just won a college championship in football.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, I mean, if you don't think that it's changed the landscape, going back again, I love the whole take that Randolph Childress had when he was on the local ESPN radio show in Syracuse. But he brought him up and he said, he asked him, he said, where do you think that they fall in the NIL as far as in the ACC? And they were probably middle of the pack, 8, 9, 10. And he's like, and that's where you guys were picked. So, I mean, what changes? If you get rid of Autry and you bring somebody else in, but that doesn't change, then what changes?
Well,
it's just the next guy that comes in is going to do the same thing.
I guess, yeah, and I totally understand that, but I guess there's got to be your coach is going to get you a coach with charisma. Like, look at a Fran Brown, okay? He's going to be able to get the players, but someone's got to get them paid. You know what I mean? Like, we talked a lot about Jim Boeheim in his later days as a Syracuse basketball coach, and just being totally honest and saying he's just not relatable. He's old. He's kind of old. Well, not kind of. He's old. He's stuck in his ways. He hasn't changed with the times. He just doesn't seem that relatable. And kids need someone that is going to be, disciplined, that is going to be relatable, that is going to have that charisma. And
I mean, I agree with that, but at the same time, they still chase the money.
Well, no, they absolutely do. But if you can get the people, you got to find someone to give them the money. That was my first comment. That's what I'm saying. Like, you can get people interested, but you got to have them. You got to have someone give them the money. So Syracuse ran off their biggest donor. Syracuse basketball did. I mean, Syracuse basketball says, we're not going to play the game with the NIL. We're not going to do that. Well, hello, dumbass. You don't have a choice, okay? What the frick are you doing? Why would you Huh?
Somebody or somewhere thought that just our pedigree and our name and the Syracuse basketball name was just going to be good enough, and the kids don't care about that anymore.
No. But how dumb do you have to be to say something like that, and then turn face the next year and start an NIL program? You got this collective that you got fans to buy into. This thing was promoted for 1 year. It came with perks. Many of us donated. I don't know.
But didn't get perks.
I don't know about anybody else. Unless I put my email. Actually, I know I didn't put my email address in wrong because I got emails from them. However, I didn't get my meet and greet invite or anything else. And you know what? I probably wasn't going to be able to make it anyway. Okay? It's something I'd have to plan out. It's not the point. The point is that people donated money. And there was perks and incentives to do these tiered packages. And I don't know if anyone ever did anything. And the other thing is, I don't hear anything about this Orange Collective anymore. I haven't heard anything about it in 2 years. So where's the money coming from? See,
where did it go?
Where did it go? I mean, they just chase these big donors in these deep pockets, and they just say, "Oh, well, I don't know. We can get our money here. I don't want to put the effort in."
Probably went to a daycare or something.
No, it went to a Leering Center.
Oh, my bad.
Come on.
Sorry. Well, look, I'm just saying that it's the day of the NIL now. Having a good coach and having we have these many Final Fours and things like that in our back pocket. We're Syracuse. Kids must respect it. Like, that's just not there anymore. They're not going to go there just because of the S. And also on top of that too, we don't really know. Money changes people. We don't know how much money people have. But I will tell you what, you have a team of 13 scholarship players that own all them, that don't all make the same amount. And they're out there trying to figure it out, and you can't tell me that that doesn't breed some type of animosity or some type of other issues behind closed doors when you're talking about in the locker room.
Yeah,
so
it might be some of the hero ball issues that go on. Hey, I want to make more money. I score more, make more. This has all become summer league. The tournament. We talked a lot about that when the tournament was. I guess it wasn't, but maybe 3 or 4 years ago. But when guys were trying to get back into the league and get paid, right?
Yeah. Well, and I'm not saying that I'm not even claiming that this is anybody on our team. It's just
the nature of it.
It's the nature of it. Money ruins things, and at the end of the day, it only takes one bad apple to spoil the bunch. So, it's you never know what's going on behind closed doors.
Well, I'll tell you what, man, it's going to be really tough for Syracuse to put asses in seats if they lose these 2 games and then they go on the road to face North Carolina and then Virginia.
Oh yeah,
2 ranked teams.
Yeah, and to go with my my comment that I just said, Ted from Facebook kind of has something to it. He says the Miami loss wouldn't have been as bad if they hadn't lost the 2 previous games.
All right, yeah.
Bottom line, this team has talent, but so does every other team. I question the heart and toughness of any player who's earning a substantial amount of money to play college basketball. If they lose, they can go hop in their G-Wagons and go have a nice dinner regardless.
That's kind of where a lot of the fans are coming from. I think that's legit. I think if you're getting paid to do a job and you get criticized for it, you shouldn't think it's disrespectful. You know what I'm saying? Like, come on, man. You're getting paid to do a job now. It's the real world. So you're critiqued.
Well, and that's the part, right? The part is you have fans that are sitting here living real world jobs, not making as much money as these kids playing a game. And if we don't do our jobs correctly, then we get held accountable.
Yeah, and you can't hold the players accountable necessarily.
No, it doesn't matter how they play. They're getting the money that was on their contract.
Right, exactly.
So realistically, and that's the thing. You don't know if it's in this. We're talking a lot about NAL now and stuff like that. So versus what we were talking about with Autry. But I think that it's all relevant. It's all relatable to the one big problem. I don't think it's just one problem. I think there's multiple issues, multiple problems, and it's going to be easy to blame the coach.
It is easy to blame the coach.
Until the same thing happens to the next coach, and then the next coach, and then you're like, okay, obviously we need to step up in NIL, right?
Well, we need to step up in NIL anyway. I mean, look, I don't know Kurt Signetti from a hole in the ground, right?
No. Hell of a coach, James Madison.
Right.
Pretty sure he came from the Nick Saban coaching tree.
Okay. Well, when I was talking about, like, the dude's intense, bro. The dude's just got that football mentality. Tough and intense. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like, his players love him. He's not necessarily, like, friendly seaman guy, right? I think...
not on TV anyway.
Didn't Fernando Mendoza said the biggest win of the season, something to the effect of like the biggest win of the season was making coach smile. Probably, you know what I'm saying? So like you got guys that just know it. Like he's just an excellent coach, right? And they had the NIL and they freaking went and executed. He went and executed what he had. How long has he been at Indiana?
I think only a couple years.
Yeah, dude. I mean, come on, man. It's about execution. You know, a coach has to execute just the same as the players have to execute. It's just one's on the court and one's off the court. There's been several coaching errors. And there's the body language from coaches at the end of some of these games has been really I just have not been impressed by it.
No.
And I just when you say, well, you know, the same thing's going to happen with the next coach. Well, there's probably pivotal points where our coaches should have done something in games to maybe change the outcome. You know, I mean,
and that's fair.
So
that's fair.
I feel like these next 4 games. You said we're breaking these games off into twos, right? Oh no, you were looking at them in blocks and fours. But you and I are breaking them off in twos. But the next block would be after this NC State Notre Dame game, which is going on the road to face Carolina, who's ranked, Virginia, who's ranked, and then coming home for California and SMU, who are like both pretty decent teams.
Yes.
So it's extremely difficult. You go on the road and you lay eggs or you don't come through with one of these games, and I'm jumping way ahead because we still got NC State and Notre Dame, but I'm just saying the next block of 4 is extremely tough. And the next 2 games is tougher than the last 2 games we played. I feel like, NC State for sure, maybe not Notre Dame, okay?
Well, probably only because they're home.
Well, yeah.
But SMU and Cal are both solid. And
it's just...
Yeah, no, it's...
the sense of urgency it should be under these guys last week, Wednesday night, whatever. And I don't want to see this team fail. I don't want to see fans booing. I don't want players feeling some kind of way about the fans. I don't want there to be tension between the student section and the coach. I don't want any of that stuff.
No.
None of it, you know?
No.
These students don't remember watching Adrian Autry on the floor. You know, you and I do.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Right? So there's a respect factor there, okay? And I mean, I wouldn't be able to sit there on the in the student section and yell fire Autry because it's just I do have a respect for the man because he's been a staple as a player and as a coach, assistant coach for a long time. I know he left for a little bit and came back, but it's been a long time. So, I don't want any of that stuff. I don't like it. I don't like having to sit here and talk about it.
No.
It gives us something else to talk about, I guess. But at the end of the day, I mean, I would like for that stuff not to be the case. But if Syracuse decides to go a different way, for crying out loud, go outside of the system and find a freaking coach that hasn't been affiliated that can come in and coach a team. And Wild Hack needs to get his crap together and get this NIL set up. Someone's got to get this NIL thing right. But money's got to come from somewhere. They're not pushing fans to donate anymore. I don't know where the hell they're pushing it. This Orange United, that's what it was. That's what I was trying to think of.
Yep.
I don't know. I don't know where it's coming from, man. So you push.
What do you think about all the people that are like calling for him to be fired like middle of the season.
No, I don't think that's healthy for the team, and I just don't think that's smart to do, because at the end of the day, we're either going to watch him fail or we're going to watch him turned around. So you give him to the end of the year.
Yeah.
When was the last time a basketball coach was fired mid-season?
Oh God, I don't know.
I mean, not a Syracuse one. I'm talking about any
Obviously.
of them.
We've only had a couple.
Right. I don't
know.
That's not really a thing. I mean, it happens in football, but it's apples and oranges. I just don't know how you bring someone in. Like, who are you going to bring in that's not already coaching? Don't you want someone?
Well, that's the thing.
You do an interim coach, right?
It would be that's the whole point is, and Neil Adler, he put out something today saying something about how he doesn't believe that he should fire him. I know Etan Thomas put something on Twitter as well. Like,
I don't care what Etan Thomas has to say.
That's fine. I'm just saying that at the end of the day, they share the same sentiments of you got to let him get through the season because of the fact that, I mean, with Neil Adler was like, what is he going to do? Like, what's going to change? Because you're just going to
make the team worse.
Coach. You're going to make the bench coach interim, right? Like,
right.
You're just going to. I mean, it seems like these players, they do have
respect for coach.
I don't think that he's lost the locker room yet. And like you said, I think. It gives him a chance to turn it around. You're not going to get anybody. If he thinks he's going to fire Red, he's probably already thinking about stuff anyway. But, you're not going to hire the guy that you want in the middle of the season because he's probably coaching somewhere else, right?
Right.
I guess my only thing would be, there are some people that worry about, retaining players and things of that nature, but
it's hard enough to retain players. I mean, you're just gonna have to let that fall where it may.
It's easier enough to build a team too, right?
Right.
Well, easier than what it used to be to build a team. But to me, those guys that are calling for them, they're people that they want Autry out. Because what's the ladder, right? I mean, there's an instance where he just doesn't get better, and you go through the rest of the season and you fire him because he didn't make the tournament and everything like that, right? But there's still 11 games. And there's still a crap ton of quad 1 and quad 2. You can't – I mean, you know me. Mathematically, the season's not over.
Mathematically, as long as we don't finish last in the ACC, we could win the championship.
Oh, man. Look, I'm just saying, I think that there's some fans out there that would rather see, and this is bad, but because if let's just say Adrian, let's just say they turn it around. Let's just say somehow they
turn it around and what? Make the tournament?
They have one of those movie moments, right, where they have a practice and they come together.
Like the Bad News Bears?
Whatever. Insert random inspirational sports movie.
Remember the Titans.
Whatever. Right?
Yeah.
Let's just say that happens.
Okay.
And they turn around and they actually put themselves in a position where they get in the tournament.
Okay.
Then what?
I don't know.
Do you fire him? Do you still fire him? I mean, I would say
that saves his job. I would say that saves his job.
It should absolutely save his job. But my whole thing is, I think there's some Syracuse fans out there that don't want him to return regardless.
Yeah. That would have to save his job. It sounds whatever, but that you think about performance. Like, if your performance sucks at work and your boss is like, "Look, man, you got to turn this around," and you turn it around, he's not gonna be like, "Dude, look, I just don't like you, man. You gotta go." Yeah, I mean, you turn it around, they make the tournament. It's a whole new gig, and you gotta win, guys. They have to win. You want to talk about people coming here and playing for money? I mean, we're offering, what's the benefit if they're just gonna come here and suck
and get booed by the fans?
What's the benefit? There's got to be some perks here.
Plus they get to deal with that Central New York snow.
Right. What happened over the weekend there? I mean, it was not good. Yeah, fun. They got spared last year is what happened. and then they just get hammered. My mom texted me it was
down.
6 degrees with like a -7 wind chill or something like that.
They got like
East
17
Syracuse.
inches or 15 inches or something.
Yeah, she said it started at 10 in the morning and just never stopped. So
Yeah.
I got like 3 centimeters here. They try to shut this place down.
Yep.
So
No, I worked from home today. They shut everything down.
it's so funny.
That's my whole point, though, is that I feel like at this point, it's like for some fans, it's too far gone.
Yeah, I don't think that those fans are well, I can't say that. I think there's a mix. Yeah, I think there's a mix. I think that everybody has different levels of frustration and tolerance for things. And to be honest with you, Joe, if we hadn't been doing this for nearly 10 years, in November next year would be 10. This is our 10th basketball season. November would be our 11th. So, yeah. If we didn't do this for 10 basketball seasons, I don't think we'd be this patient. If I'm just a fan sitting home at my couch, I could go back through my old Facebook posts from the Ryan Nassib days and all the rest, right? I was not that patient. I wanted to see heads roll, right? And this is before NIL. So I get it. This has made me a little bit more, I don't know. I still care. I just don't. I'm emotionally detached to a certain degree. Yeah. I mean, obviously I get frustrated. That Miami game really pissed me off. It really pissed me off. And you know what sucks worse? When you bring your freaking kids into this. You bring your kids into this, and my kids know. You can root for any baseball team you want, any NFL football team you want, any freaking race car driver you want, name the sport. But you bring another collegiate flag into this home, I'm burning it. Okay? Okay? So, I don't care. My daughter's going to go to ODU. No. I'm bringing that crap in here. We're not going to be having that around the house. Okay? So, I'm sorry. All right? My kids know that. And my 11-year-old goes, are we just going to suck? Are we just going to suck forever? I'm like, he doesn't know when they were good. He's never seen them good. He's wondering why I even root for this team.
Yeah, I know.
You know what I'm saying? He's never seen it. He's got a couple football seasons. And he likes watching basketball. And he gets frustrated. I feel bad. I do. My oldest son's texting me. He's like, "Oh, this is BS." You know, he's going off on this, that, and the other. And we suck. This is embarrassing. And I'm like, I just feel bad. I feel bad that I did this to them. I don't know what else to say. I'm like,
look. All you wanted to do was you remember your childhood, and you're like, all right, well, this is going to be awesome. Like, I'm going to get my kids to like Syracuse. You know, we were this, we were that, and it's just not the same team.
No, things have changed.
It's not your father's Syracuse team.
No, literally.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you love the tradition. You love except for the standing and clapping thing. How awkward was that 4 minutes? The first 4 minutes of that game, and they go down 9-0. Everybody's just standing. Hardly anybody's clapping. They're just sitting there.
Yep.
Like, oh my gosh, I couldn't watch. I was hoping I could fast forward it, but I was live.
I had to clap through a timeout that wasn't TV timeout.
Yeah, right? Yeah. So, I mean, look, I don't know, man. We can sit here and joke, but at the end of the day, this fan base isn't that big. They want to see their team win. They want to get back to the old standard. And damn it, these fans deserve it. They do. The one comment I read today about paying this money for this money for that, this money for that, driving down to the dome, fighting all the BS, and walking your ass up the hill, and sitting there and watching your team get waxed and you're $100 in the hole. It sucks. You know, I mean,
Walking outside to a blizzard.
Walking outside, you got to freaking shovel snow off your car. You can't even use a snow brush. I just feel like the fans have legit reason, and if I felt like they didn't, then I've sat here before and said all the things that disagreeing with it. But like I've always said, the fans are the ones who if they didn't exist, nothing would matter. Wouldn't matter if you won either, if you didn't have fans. So they have every right to give their opinions and feel the way they're going to feel, and no one should question that. I don't think it's disrespectful. I think Nate George just took it personally when it's not. I mean, we don't know these guys personally, but this is our team, and the team changes face every year. And, do you think that the fans were booing Kyan Anthony, the legend's son? I mean, no, they're just booing. They're upset. That's it. Plain and simple. Coach didn't get all bent out of shape. He knows he's been here. He knows what's going on. He knows what time it is. And so I don't know, man. They're going to have to fix it. It's on them to fix it. So it's not on the fans. The fans can't do anything but keep showing up. And I hope they do.
Right. Yeah. I mean, and that's the one thing is you hope that that's what it is. I know Donnie Freeman, he got caught kind of used like, let me just say this. And then he like kind of caught himself and then said something a little bit more, politically correct that wasn't going to get people all upset. But, at the end of the day, like it's on the players and the coaches to fix it. Yeah. The fans at this point can't do anything. And I don't blame anybody that wouldn't want to go and spend that kind of money to go see that product.
Man, Nate George, he just said too much.
Yeah, sometimes people do.
Which we've all been there. But you can go check this.
He wasn't like disrespectful about it, but
he wasn't. But he was upset that they lost, and they're sticking microphones in their face, asking him about the fans. That's right. To be fair to him, he was in an emotional state too.
Yeah,
but so were the fans. Here's what Donnie had to say, and this is what I've got. And I would encourage everybody to go check this out if you didn't over at Daily Orange. It's unfortunate to hear, and it's hard for us for sure. Added sophomore forward Donnie Freeman. The fans mean a lot to us, and for them to feel disappointed like that, it's tough for us. But we appreciate their support, and they deserve better times. That is a mature professional response. And while you said maybe he wanted to say something else,
he caught himself.
My boss told me something that I'll never forget. I deal with so many different characters, personalities, and he knows that I can have a hot temper. Count to 4. When you feel like you're going to say something that's not appropriate or is not worth saying, count to 4 in your head and then speak. And usually by the time you get to 4, you're like, you can speak. And Donnie Freeman counted to 4. And I appreciate that. And I think that that was a very mature response from him. And, I think fans respect that. But let's use this moment, kind of like what you said earlier, as motivation to come out and do something. Because as you mentioned to me real quick before we go, you mentioned to me about this NC State game coming up. And Quadir Copeland had things to say, too, while we're quoting players. He's looking very forward to this game at home for him. And obviously, Quadir Copeland this is his second year removed from Syracuse basketball. So, I'm kind of glad he's not coming to the Dome. I guess I'd rather have it be at his place. But he was a player that I absolutely loved. And I think we did a half an episode on Quadir Copeland leaving, right?
No.
And we talked a lot about it when he left, and they made the tournament last year. And with where was he again? I'm going to kick
McNeese State.
McNeese State. That's right. Made the tournament last year. That team, McNeese State last year, they had like 3 Quadir Copelands on that team. I think every team should have a Quadir Copeland.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And he was kind of our Devendorf of his day. And, you know, he basically said what, Joe?
I mean, from what I saw, it basically said something like, you know, he said that I'm assuming that he was questioned about why he left Syracuse to begin with, and probably spoke about his path getting to McNeese State with, you know, Will Wade and that. But he essentially said that Syracuse didn't see him as their future point guard and that this game is personal.
Well, that sucks for us.
It's going to be a show, is what he said.
Oh, it's going to be a show? He added that?
I'm pretty sure he did.
Ay, ay, ay. And you know what sucks? Who on that team knows him? J.J. Starling. Right? That would be it. Right?
Yeah, and Red.
Well, yeah, but I mean, right. And I mean, if it's personal against him. You know? I mean, it was a poor decision. Now, did it come down to money or what? Because, you know, you'd think you'd have enough money to make sure that you can utilize and keep a guy like Quadir Copeland. So, and I mean, I guess.
Yeah, actually, I'm trying to see. I'm going to try to see if I can't find something else here, because it looks like Chris Carlson, some type of Chris Carlson had some type of piece on it. I don't know if it's out yet, but
it's probably not out for you to read.
Probably not, no. So, but Chris Carlson on Twitter basically said, Quadir Copeland looks to many outsiders like he'd be the next Syracuse point guard. He left, he says, because he didn't feel like the staff believed in him. It's going to make Tuesday's game between the Orange and North Carolina State a personal one. It's basically what Chris Carlson said. And then he's got some type of probably upcoming, you know,
article. Okay, well, look. They got
a good squad, man. They can score.
Yeah, they got a good squad. They can score a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Stop that 3.
Yeah, and I don't have a good feeling about that one. I don't have a good feeling about 3 out of the next 4. So, I guess we're just gonna have to see what happens, and, you know, we'll hope for the best at this point, you know, and see what happens. And we got a game away, and then we got a game at home, and then we got 2 more away. So
yeah. Well, I mean, look, the way you got to look at it is this.
What is it? What is it, Joe?
Wild Hack had a presser, and he spoke about this. He was asked questions about this. They weren't even talking to him about the team. It was all Autry. And he said they were looking at it, and at some point you're going to have to hold somebody accountable, right? He knows what's going on. And at the end of the day, you know, I know fans are saying, you know, let's get rid of him now. Let's do this. Like, I'm not going to go to the games, and just, like, let's be supportive. Let's be supportive as we can as fans, because at the end of the day, this guy either makes a miraculous comeback and we make the tournament and he saves his job and we have a great rest of the season. Because if he comes back and we make the tournament, then the games that we're about to see for the next month and a half are going to be ridiculous. Versus he's going to get fired like everyone wants him to.
Right.
At this point, right? So that's where we are. We're at a, 2-pronged fork in the road, and it's going to go one way or another.
Yeah, it's kind of one or the other. And I mean, you know, I need to say less. I think we're just gonna have to wait and see. Until then, I mean, I hope that the players can use these moments as motivation and not be frustrated by it, and play as a team and have each other's backs and turn this thing around. That's what I hope for. I question whether or not that's going to be the case. And I'm kind of a little pessimistic sometimes. I just go with I just go with how I see it. I'm not saying it's impossible. I'm just saying, from what I've seen, it's going to be tough to turn this thing around. The games that they needed, like, you got to win the games that you should. And they should have beat Virginia Tech, and they should have beat Boston College, and they should have beat Hofstra. So,
and if you have those games under your belt right now, it's a different conversation.
It is. It's a totally different conversation, and it's a conversation where, we're just being like, okay, look, we've been competitive with these teams. We're 15-5. That's a pretty good record, and we're going into a tough stretch, and there's confidence behind the backs of these guys, and you feel good, but that's not the case.
Well, and that's just, and part of it's come all the way since, even before Boeheim and even pre-COVID. This confidence is just, there is no confidence because we've made the tournament one time in 7 years, right?
Golly. Never happened when I was a kid.
Nope.
Not even as an adult up until 7 years ago. It's crazy to think we've been doing this. We're doing this almost 10 years, and here we are.
And I'm not 100% sure if that's the exact right stat, but it sounds right.
I think they've missed the last 4, right? They've missed the last 4 or 5 years. So would you say 1 in the last 7? That sounds about right.
Does sound about right.
Yeah. So, it's been a rough go, but all right. Well, we shall bore you no longer. We will be back here as soon as we can get back here. We will talk about NC State and Notre Dame. Sorry for the lack of preparation on those games. I just felt like the conversation that we had was a little bit more relevant and important at this time. So appreciate you guys. For Joe and Sean, we're out.